We're very excited for today's guest, Odin. He's also a keen chess player, but is more famous for his skills and achievements in the swimming pool. He has won a number of medals in European and World Championships, and in the summer he became an internet sensation during the Paris Olympics and got the nickname the Muffin Man. And a few years ago, he also played an underwater match against you, Odin, which was an epic battle. So we'll talk more about that. It's a great pleasure to have you here. Welcome, professional swimmer Henrik Christiansen.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
And how are you these days?
I'm doing great. It's I'm enjoying some time off from swimming right now, so I'm just living the life. It's really nice to have a bit more time off, not have the same rigid time schedule as I usually have when I'm training full time. And now I have more time to embrace the fact that I've become the Muffin Man, as you previously said. It takes it takes some time to do all of the stuff that you kind of need to do now that you've gained some fame. So it's nice to. It couldn't come at a better time, so to say.
Nice. And I can imagine how your daily routine looks like as a professional athlete and all the training, all the diet, etc. So I guess it's nice for you you can travel, you have some time off. And recently you went to an NFL game, or a few, in London, where you watched the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Chicago Bears. And how did you end up going there and watching those games?
I was actually invited by the NFL to have tickets, and we sat pitch side. It was an amazing experience. It was my first ever NFL game. I actually posted.
Ever? Like, have you ever watched on TV?
I have watched on TV,
okay,
but my first one in person.
Yep.
I mean, it's not really that normal to watch NFL games in Norway in person. You kind of need to travel for that. But I actually made a TikTok calling it an NFL match, and I was absolutely roasted in the comment section. People saying like, "What is an NFL match?" Because apparently it's called a game, right?
Yeah.
It's like, no, people were just hating on me brutally. But I mean, more people were commenting because of that. So it's just like, haters make you famous, right?
Yeah. More engagement.
I
think Odin and I would experience that a lot. I also misuse the word games and match, and it's different, right? And we have a very good English friend, David Howell, and we also speak to Americans, so we have to figure out the difference, hopefully one day. And overall, how was the experience in London?
It was really cool. Just to see, because it was a full, it was on the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I think the attendance was over 60,000 people. So it was huge. It was crazy. Stadium was packed, and a lot of Americans took the trip to root for their home team, and a lot of international people as well, just coming to witness something as big as an NFL game in Europe. Because I think they host a couple each year, and then they're very popular. But we sat pitch side, so we got to see everything up close. It was cool to see how big the teams are, and just how many people are in the team in general. Not only the players, but physio and staff and everything. It's such a massive...
Are we talking like 50 plus per team? Or
I think every team is... we looked into this.
Including
every
the players?
Roster is 53 players.
Wow.
But you're only allowed to travel with, I think it's like 46. You dress 46 for the game, but it's... I mean, at least... as many just in staff and coaches and
so close to 100 per team.
That's 100%.
That's crazy. Wow.
And just to see how many, because you have the offense team, you have the defense team, you have special teams. It's just there are so many people for each role, and there are so many different roles. So it's cool to see all of the people kind of come together to form the team. And it was cool to experience an NFL game as well. I've never seen it up close. I did know the rules, so I was able to like pay attention and understand what was happening. So it was really cool.
Great, awesome.
You went to London recently as well, Askild?
Yes, that's correct. I went some time ago to London for a shoot with Anish Giri and Vidit. We did a lie detector chess shoot, which is coming out soon. So that went really well, and there was this global chess league event going on with all the top players playing for different teams, and I think you had a rant about this a while ago as well, Odin.
Yes, on Twitter.
Yeah. But it was great. I got to meet a lot of people. I went to this party / poker night at Ali Murtasavi's place, and I sat next to Demis Hassabis, who recently won the Nobel Chemistry Prize, and he developed AlphaGo and AlphaZero.
Google DeepMind.
So he founded DeepMind, which was acquired by Google some 10 years ago. And also at the poker table, we had Hikaru Nakamura, Magnus Carlsen, Peter Svidler. So it was amazing. And I actually ended up winning a little bit, so I was like the Robin Hood of poker that night.
That's kind of impressive. You have a lot.
And in
of
the
good
background, and in the background we had Vishy Anand, we had Giri, Maxime Vacher-Lagrave. So we had all the best players.
And Maxime
in the world.
didn't play.
No, he didn't play. He was just hanging out.
He's more into blackjack. I guess.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So overall, a great night and. So much fun, and I'm glad the shoot went well. So I'm looking forward to releasing that video before the World Championship match.
Yeah. You had all of like the chess royalty there, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it was awesome. And Demis had won the Nobel Prize the day before the poker game.
That's crazy.
So that was his way of like celebrating with the chess people and personalities and playing some poker. So that was really cool.
And kind of wealthy guy as well.
Yes,
I guess.
I think he sold the company for like $500 million or something. So
it's not too bad.
I think he's doing okay. Yeah. So overall a great.
He's not like a struggling scientist.
No. So
in need of funding.
So I think he's okay. Yeah. But Henrik, obviously this is a chess podcast, and you were actually the guest at the Norwegian chess broadcast in Norway in December 2018 at the last day of the World Championship. And tell us about that and that experience.
It was cool. It was chess has always been something that I've found interesting. I've never really, I hate to say it, but I've never really found the passion for playing as much as I would like to, I was fortunate enough to get the opportunity to sit in the studio and watch Magnus play. I think it was Lightning that time.
Rapid chess or Blitz chess.
Yeah. I don't remember which one it was.
Yeah, I think it was the Rapid World Championship.
One. Okay, yeah. It was a long day to be able to sit there in the studio and watch like all of the games, and then to kind of, I'm no expert. So once the matches were starting to like heat up, once they were beginning to like reach their climax, I was just sitting there saying nothing. I had nothing to contribute with, but it was still cool. It was fun to gain like an insight into how these tournaments are, and then how popular they have become, at least in Norway, because of Magnus.
Yeah,
I feel like you kind of have to give Magnus a lot of the credit for how popular chess has become in Norway. But it was cool to, as I said, gain some insight on just how everything works.
Yeah, and it's incredible because the NRK broadcast shows, they have hundreds of thousands of people watching chess live on TV. So, and especially in this day and age, that's pretty remarkable, I would say.
Yeah, no, who would have imagined?
Yeah. So hopefully swimming will experience the same one day. But it was a bit challenging because Magnus ended up as number 5. When you were in the studio, so it was probably a little bit anticlimactic, right?
Yeah, it would have been amazing to see him win. I think he won the Blitz.
Correct.
The day after, or sometime after.
Yeah, 2 days later.
A few days after. It would have been really cool to be in the studio to watch that and to commentate on that. But it was still a unique experience that I'm really happy I got to do. And but I mean, yeah, you win some, you lose some. That's kind of how life is, right?
Yeah. And Odin, recently there was a big cheating scandal in chess. Ukrainian player Shevchenko, who is representing Romania, was caught cheating over the board in the Spanish team championship. And apparently they found a smartphone in the toilet, and he was checking the phone during the games. And this is a big story because he's the highest rated player ever to be caught cheating over the board. And your thoughts on that, Odin? And then I'll ask you, Henrik, a little bit about, is there like cheating and similar scandals in swimming?
I have followed discussions and like articles on social media. It's just a absurd situation because someone like he played Vallejo Pons, who's one of the greats in chess, especially he's a Spanish player as well. So this was in the.
He's a legend in Spain, obviously.
Yeah, he is. And he was suspicious, so he contacted the arbiter because he felt that his opponent went away most parts of the game, and he just thought something was wrong or odd, and the arbiter even talked to this alleged cheater during the game and said, you can't stay that much away from the game, you have to ask permission from me, etc. And then he continued to be away from the game, and they tried to investigate what was going on, and they found a cell phone in one of the toilets with a note on, like "Don't touch." The owner is coming to collect it later, or something like that. Really weird stuff.
Wow.
But I don't know if they have it's circumstantial, like the evidence. But of course, it doesn't look really good. But I don't think they caught him red-handed, like with the phone. But like when you add. But if 1 + 1,
if it's his phone, like if it's his personal phone,
they don't know yet. So
okay,
they're trying to trace the owner of the phone.
Yeah,
I think there was actually 2 phones now they're talking about.
And if the phone was confiscated, maybe they're able to open it up and see what applications were in use when it was found, because that will also give an indicator, I guess.
Yeah,
something dodgy was
I
going
think
on.
they found some chess software at least, or
That's what I've heard as well.
It's really suspicious either way. But and his team came with a statement that the evidence is circumstantial, and they will wait for like more concrete evidence, and they're standing by their player. But he, from the arbiter side, he was penalized, and so he actually played 1 draw and won this game against Vallejo Pons, but they gave him 2 zeros.
2 losses.
2 losses, yeah.
Interesting. And he has also won, I think, at least 1 title Tuesday recently.
Yeah.
He's done well in online chess, and he has been one of the players Vladimir Kramnik has accused for a long time. But I also feel like, it's, what's the expression, like a broken watch tells the time correctly 2 times per day,
twice,
right?
Twice per day, yeah.
So I feel bad for all the other players that Kramnik has accused, Now he will feel confident going forward, and he will probably continue accusing.
Vann på mølla, så de ville sagt på norsk.
Yes.
No, so now he's like, he's I think I tweeted this, but he's if there ever comes a sequel of Shutter Island, he would be perfect for the role, because now he actually thinks he's a detective and he knows who's cheating, and because he got his paranoia confirmed.
Yeah,
but it will be interesting.
I
I think that's like. okay, cheating is obviously a huge problem in chess, but so is Kramnik's behavior.
Yeah.
So
okay, so it will be interesting at least to see what happens with Shevchenko, and if there are further developments, we'll keep people posted here. But Henrik, I mean, this was a very special case, and I guess in chess, at least in modern chess, the big way of cheating is using like a smartphone and technology, and you have like you get the answer, you know, from the chess computer telling you the best move. But in swimming, are there any ways of cheating, or is it doping? Or tell us a little bit about that. And have you experienced anything like that in your career?
Yeah, I mean there is cheating, but it's as you said, it's mostly doping. In this way, there are no softwares that can help you swim faster. At least not yet.
Develop fins or
yeah, I mean there's hardware.
Like,
there's hardware.
But like in cycling back in the day, people would cheat with like they had like a little motor or something
on their bike. But it's in the water. It's just us, you know. It's you can't really attach like a small engine.
Just like a small fan.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work. It doesn't give you anything. Yeah, no, there's definitely some stuff that you can use to swim faster. But I mean, if you wear fins, if you just show up wearing fins, you're not going to be able to. You're not allowed to dive in. Yeah. It's pretty easy to spot. But I say doping is kind of like the way that swimmers can cheat. I feel like that's the way for a lot of different individual sports as well, track and field and other sports. But yeah, I mean, you get some people are caught, but it's always like the people who actively do it are always 2 steps ahead. So it's like most people who get caught are mostly people who have gotten something in their system that they're not really supposed to, contaminated products. And if they're able to prove that they got it in their system through a contaminated batch of some supplement, it's usually you can get your you can kind of be liberated. You can get your sentence reduced, or the sentence can be dropped. Yeah. But
I think this happened in tennis recently with like
with
Jannik Sinner.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was a bit controversial because other top tennis players were like, why does he get this special treatment? And we don't know if he's innocent or not. So it's probably difficult for the people deciding as well, like sentencing
and unfortunately, I feel like doping has become a lot about politics. It's not really just true or false. It's about circumstances and rules and how you can bend the rules. But I mean, there's no other kind of way of cheating. Yeah. There are some technical ways in swimming where you can't cheat, but it's so easy to catch. Because in swimming, you're only allowed to go 15 meters underwater out of each turn. Because when you're swimming underwater, it's faster than swimming on the surface. But it's very easy to spot if you go past 15. And you can kind of... There was a lot of controversy in swimming regarding a breaststroke pullout because people were kind of abusing the fact that when you dive in, there's so much splash from the water, and then the judges the officials who are standing on deck, it's hard for them to see what's going on underwater during that first phase. So people were kicking, people were doing a lot of kind of illegal stuff to gain an advantage. But now, during the past few years, we have gotten video review. VAR, video-assisted review. So it's a lot less cheating, especially on breaststroke. After that was introduced, but it's mostly doping, I'd say, when it comes to cheating, at least nowadays.
Wasn't there like a new record recently, which was so fast that some people like questioned if it had to be cheating somehow, but like nothing concrete.
Yeah, I mean, swimming is a sport where there are world records every year. It's a sport that is in constant development because of advancements in kind of like suit technology, but also just in technique and training science, just how to train, and then people become better. It's still a sport in development, unlike track and field, where running has been running for so many years. Swimming has developed so much, so we still see world records, and I don't think we're near kind of like the peak, because at some point it's going to be so much harder to swim faster because of the drag and everything. But there was a world record this summer in the 100 freestyle by a Chinese swimmer. It was a world record by close to half a second. He won by over a second. I mean, a lot of people will question that because the Chinese swimmers had a doping scandal earlier this season. But he was never, I mean, he wasn't one of those, and he wasn't caught. And then he has issued that he's been tested more than 30 times this year.
Wow. Okay.
Almost. So you never really know. But
it seems credible, maybe in this case, if he's tested this much.
Yeah, but there's also like you said, swimming is developing, but so is drugs, I guess, and drug industry, and there might be like some drugs are not so easy to detect and whatnot. So
yeah, that's true, but it's also you can't really. We have to still maintain the fact that you're innocent until proven guilty, not the other way around, right? Yeah. So and for me, I generally don't go around accusing anyone or thinking that anyone is cheating, because it's nothing that really helps my performance, right? Yeah. If I go around and if I lose to someone and I think to myself, oh, he's just cheating, I'm better than him, then it's like I'm not really realizing the fact that, oh, I'm just not better than him. Yeah. And so
you're kind of giving yourself this sense of false.
Exactly. Yeah. And you don't really get better. Yeah. You don't get better at swimming from accusing other people. I guess you always want to push
yourself to become better. But I have a question. You mentioned like swimming is like improving every year, and the times get better. But the most famous swimmer is probably, Michael Phelps. And how does his times from back in the day compared to today?
He actually had his last world record broken last year. Wow. His last world record was his 400 IM from the Beijing Olympics in 2008. Léon Marchand from France, he broke it at the World Championships last year. And he was also the gold medal winner at 400 IM this summer in Paris Olympics. He was kind of like the big golden poster boy at this year's Olympics. He won 4 individual gold medals on home soil. Wow. He was like the big star.
Impressive.
So his times are still holding up, but he doesn't have any world records yet. Still. Yeah. He doesn't have any of those still. So he was a phenomenal athlete, and I mean, even though he was insanely quick and had world records in so many events, it was kind of like his versatility that really made him stand out, because he had world records on so many different strokes and so many different distances, and he was just a key person in all of the relays for USA, and that's what kind of made him so great. But now people are starting to specialize in a lot of the different events, and they've broken his world records.
And one event which we kind of invented a few years back, Odin, was underwater chess, and you challenged Henrik to a game or a match. Tell us about that.
Yeah, no, that was fun. It was a bit hard to do it for TV because we had to fix a board on the bottom of a swimming pool. Yeah. And it was really hard to perform as well, especially for me.
Especially for you.
I think being underwater for Henrik is easy, but for me, like when you're underwater, holding your breath and trying to stay still without messing up the pieces and move the pieces at the same time. after swimming like
so
couple of
the
meters
format was
yeah.
swimming first, and then you would start the clock, and then swim underwater and start the game.
Yeah, so I started like with maybe, I don't know, 7 minutes less than Henrik or something like that. Because
you were supposed to, but we found out during
I
shooting
would probably lose
that during shooting that no, we can't really have him swim that far, so we kind of reduced the distance that you had to swim before the match. But I mean, it really turned out quite well. I'd say
it did.
It was difficult because a lot of the pieces. Well, first of all, the board was floating, so we had to hold that down with some weights, and then it's so easy for the pieces to just float away.
Yeah,
luckily they didn't float, but they were. I remember you just messing up the board really one time, and then
I think I was kicking.
Yeah,
when
you were
going
getting up
towards the clock. Yeah,
you were getting up to the surface again, and then didn't realize that you were kind of like pushing all the pieces off the board, and then we had to set up the board again, and then some pieces were in different positions.
Yeah, but we had the excellent arbiter and quite decent swimmer. Halvor Ekeland, was it? Yes. So thanks to him, but he messed up there.
Yeah, no, the rules weren't really that clear before we dove in, but
this was for NRK, and we got Torstein Ba, the famous chess commentator, commentating the game, and it was shown on the chess broadcast.
Yeah, and we will obviously publish this video on social media, so you can all watch it there. And decide for yourself.
But Torstein commentating on the match was hands down the best part of the video.
Yeah,
he's just so intense, and he's just. I mean, in Norway, because of all the national television broadcasts that he's been on, he's become like a national treasure in Norway. 100%.
Sure. Yeah.
Just the way he talks, the way he acts, just everything is so. It makes chess so much more interesting, at least for the people in Norway.
Yeah,
and it really made that video like chef's kiss.
Yeah, from an 8 out of 10 to 10 out of 10. I would 100%. Say. That was a lot of fun, and maybe we'll do 2.0 challenge at some point. That would be fun.
I have to train some swimming before.
And I'll have to train some chess as well.
Yeah. So
we're
have to lose some
equal
baby weight
on that one.
That's cool. There are, at least in Norway, but we also know abroad as well, that there are many athletes into chess and playing chess. What's your impression of that?
I think, I think chess is something that a lot of people find very interesting to challenge themselves with. And for a lot of athletes, they want something to do while they're something to unwind with, right? So you're not really thinking about your sport or your performance 24/7, but they're still competitors, right? So they want to challenge their friends. They want to defeat their friends. That's kind of like the most thing. The feeling of beating your friend in a game it's so thrilling, especially when you're an athlete. That's kind of what you do, right? You defeat other people, or you win, or it's that just like this competition instinct. So I think chess is a really easy way for a lot of elite athletes to find that kind of thing. And it's also like just a mental sharpener. It's like it keeps you active, but it's you kind of need to enjoy it. You kind of need to have you need to want to practice and to learn it to become better. And if you don't really find it that interesting, it's hard to push yourself through, because it is difficult. But as I previously said, I wish that I had more passion for it, because it's something that it's always been interesting. It's cool to see like how big it is in the world and how impactful it is. but I've never really found the passion for it that much, unfortunately.
But are you then more of a gamer if you want to unwind and just do other things away from all the training and swimming and so on?
Yeah, 100%. Most other video games is kind of like that's how I unwind.
So what's your go-to game, like when playing video games?
I enjoy playing a lot of different stuff. I've had different phases. I mean, all the competitive FPS shooters and just the adventure games, the whole Soulsborne thing, Elden Ring, Dark Souls, all of that stuff is something I've always loved. Skyrim, Far Cry, just Fallout. There's so many. And I've always, like when I was younger, I had my Game Boy where I was playing Pokemon. And then I had I went from having handheld devices, the Game Boy, the DS, the PlayStation Portable, and then through to having like my first gaming station was the Xbox 360, and the PS4, and then the PS5. And I also have like a gaming laptop that I bring with me when I'm traveling, so I'm able to kind of play games when I'm away on training camp, because the PS5 is big. It takes up way too much room in my suitcase, right? So yeah, no, that's always something that I've loved to do. It's been my passion for such a long time. It kind of brings me back to when I was younger, when I had my Game Boy just sitting there, just playing Pokemon, Ruby, and just enjoying life. No commitment, no anything, no responsibility. You're just a kid again.
I guess it's like when I play chess, I just I can take a pause from everything else and focus on that for a while. And it's a little bit similar, I guess, with gaming. And I've also played a lot of video games throughout the years. And I had the Sega, Super Nintendo, PlayStation,
Commodore.
And so you guys are that old.
Yeah. We're ancient. And recently I got the mini Super Nintendo version, with all the games. So it's a lot of fun. And in September I went to Paris for a chess tournament, the Speed Chess Championship, and that was also during the end of the Paralympics. And I went to the Eiffel Tower and I saw the Olympic rings, and it was really like a special feeling. And tell us about the Olympics and how it is to be an athlete taking part, and tell us about like the everyday life and the athletes' village and so on.
Yeah, I know the Olympics is for a lot of athletes the absolute biggest stage where you can perform. For some sports, it's bigger. You have the World Cup in soccer, you have Grand Slams in tennis. But for swimming, the Olympics, that's like the peak, right? Yeah. If you won an Olympic gold medal, you've done everything. It's an incredible experience, and the fact that it's only every 4 years makes it even more special. But this year in Paris was my third Olympics, and even though my performance was perhaps the worst of the three, I still had my favorite Olympics. Just being in Paris, being in the heart of the city, having so many people watching, it truly felt like a party. When we were in Tokyo 3 years ago, because of COVID, it was so restricted. We were tested every day. We were not allowed to leave the village. It kind of felt a little weird, but it was still a really cool experience. And like we were still competing in the Olympics and it was official, but just having so many more people watching, cheering on, having such great venues. We were competing in a multi-stage arena that was, they put up a temporary pool. And in that arena, Taylor Swift had a concert just 3 months prior. So it was kind of crazy. It was a big...
it looked fantastic on TV. I can just imagine.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And I think we had 17 or 18,000 people in the stands.
Wow.
For swimming, that's crazy. The highest I've ever experienced is, I think, 10 previously, so almost double that. And I was swimming in the Seine as well, the river, where we had stands all along the venue in the river. People were cheering on. It was like early Friday morning but it was still so many people there watching. You had the Eiffel Tower in the background. Our starting point was one of the most famous bridges in Paris.
Must have been a special feeling with those surroundings, right?
It was truly special. I'm really happy I got to experience all of it because it's not everyone gets to experience it, right?
Yeah.
And the whole thing with the village and just how the Olympics is truly something special. But I mean, it hurts me to say that I feel like out of all of my swimming achievements, the Olympics have probably been like my worst performances. I did make the final of the 1500 meter in Rio in 2016, which was good. But back then I never really stopped to enjoy it. I made the final and I was like, okay, now I have to perform in the final. And I swam so slowly. It was horrible. It was one of the worst races of my career in the final. I was like dead last. The race was just horrible. But and I've always looked back and kind of like hated the Rio Olympics when in fact it was. I mean, I made an Olympic final. It is one of my biggest achievements. In addition to World Championship medals. So it's something that I regret not enjoying more. So this year in Paris, even though the performances were not as good as I'd hoped, I enjoyed the experience a lot more. And I made sure to enjoy it as much as I can. And that's kind of what I've learned from those Olympics. That even though you're there to perform, you're only there to perform, right? But you still have to enjoy all of the surroundings. You still kind of have to enjoy everything because you don't want to end up regretting not enjoying it more when you're finished because you're not going to experience that again.
Yeah. Fantastic.
I just have a couple of questions. Like, how many people approximately live in these Olympic villages? Like they.
Yeah, it depends because there are roughly 10,000 athletes competing during the 2.5 weeks that are the Olympics, but not everyone is there at the same time. You have swimming for like the first week, and then you have track and field the last week, and then during the during the 2 weeks you have different sports that just come and go. Some people are there for just like 2 days and then they're out. Some people are there for 3 weeks. I don't really think they have a number for how many athletes are in the village at one time, but it is kind of like a sealed off village. You just have different apartment buildings. You have like a major dining hall, like the main dining hall. You have different smaller dining halls. You have like food trucks scattered around the village. We had bicycles that were just standing around where you can just take a bicycle and just ride around inside the village.
Nice.
But you can't take that one outside. It's heavily guarded. You have different entrances to the village and there are fences.
So really confined everything.
It's very confined, like hermetically sealed off area.
And like in terms of environment, because I went to the chess Olympiad and we had like cardboard tables.
Yeah.
I guess it's really good for environment, but what do they do in the because they create this village usually?
Yeah.
So do they use the same, or what do they use when they?
I think this year's Paris Olympics was the greenest Olympics they've ever hosted. So they build all the apartment buildings, and then later on they sell the apartments, or it's made for student housing. They have a lot of different stuff, but all of the we had cardboard beds, cardboard. I almost said cardboard floors, cardboard tables. Everything was temporary.
Okay,
and it's recyclable cardboard. Our beds were made from recycled plastic. So everything is supposed to be very green. And then once the Olympics and the Paralympics are finished, they make the apartments into more permanent apartments. They install kitchens. They make them into a bit more proper proper living spaces.
So cardboard beds. I've heard some rumors that prevents people from sleeping together when they're in the Olympic Village.
Yeah.
And this is a bit off topic, but it made me think about something. I don't know. It's not a very familiar term, but it's called soaking. It's what?
Yeah, from the Mormons.
From the Mormons, yeah. So I can just read it here. It's when you insert the penis into the vagina, but you don't hump and you don't move at all. So you literally just park in there, and it doesn't count as sex. So maybe this is something for the and you usually have like a friend who rocks the bed. So this is if people are going to have sex during the Olympics on a cardboard bed, this is probably the only technique that works, right?
Yeah, I mean, I know the term soaking. I've heard it before, but I mean, just the fact that they were labeled as anti-sex beds in the media, that's just false news. It's just like something to create like a headline. To create a headline. It's like they're sturdy, people are jumping on them. It's like it's no issues, but they're narrow. It's like they're 90 centimeters wide, so it's like a regular single bed, right? But I mean, there's a lot of stuff happening in the village that people don't know about.
Yeah,
because I mean, we also hear stories.
A lot of soaking.
A lot. I mean, we hear stories about people hooking up and like the IOC handing out like tens of thousands of condoms and so on. So yeah, probably people are meeting each other and enjoying each other's company,
even though there are cardboard beds.
Yes,
yeah,
that's not gonna stop anyone.
That's not gonna stop anyone. That's good to hear.
But Henrik, we also have to talk about how famous you became during the Olympics. You became known as the Muffin Man. Was it something you had planned? Not exactly the muffin part, but to do some stunt on social media, or did this kind of happen organically?
It's kind of like both, because I had planned on making some different content, but you can never plan on becoming viral.
Yeah,
that's not something you decide, right? But I'm never on social media during major championships. I've previously found it very distracting, and I have lost myself in it completely. For some previous championships. So for the past 9 years, I've never been on any social media during Olympics, World Championships, European Championships. But I decided this year that I wanted to be on TikTok to make some content, make some funny content, and give like an insight into what's happening in the Olympic Village. Because me and my girlfriend, we saw during the Tokyo Olympics that was the first Olympics where TikTok was really a thing, right? So we saw people posting behind the scenes content, and it was just so insanely popular, because that's the very first time you've ever been able to see what's going on behind those closed doors, right?
Yeah. People
were posting, oh, how are the beds? This is the dining hall. These are the people I've met. This is all the free stuff we get. It's so far from what other people's everyday life is, right? So I wanted to kind of use that opportunity to gain some traction. And TikTok is such it's a platform where I can make my content and post it, and I don't really have to interact that much, because a lot of the other social media platforms, there's a lot of interaction, and that's what kind of makes me lose focus. So I had a lot of plans. I wanted to make just like funny content in general. I enjoy making people laugh. I enjoy making funny stuff. And when I'm using TikTok, I can do that myself. I've always loved making funny videos with TV and other kinds of outlets. But now I'm able to kind of like just produce that myself. And it's so simple, it's so easy. And it also makes us athletes so much more relatable. I know a lot of people kind of view us athletes as just machines. We go do our sports and then we go back and sleep. We hibernate until the next time we compete again. but I mean, we're regular people as well, and it's an opportunity for us to show off our personalities. At least for me, to show off my personality and who I am as a person. And then,
so this is more about you and your personality than having like a strategy for social media and stuff like that. You just want to kind of share from your life and who you are.
Yeah, but that's kind of like the best strategy for social media as well, right? You have to be genuine. You have to create organic content. You have to, because as athletes, we are also I like to view myself as in the entertainment industry when I'm an athlete, because the only way that I can make money from doing my sport is to create something that has value for someone. And for example, soccer players, they're part of like a multi-billion-dollar industry. They create, when they play football, millions and billions of people watch, and it has value for someone, and they can like make money off of that. If I don't create something that has value for anyone, whether that is swimming, because that can have entertainment value, but only if I'm doing it well, only if I'm winning medals or winning in general, then it has value. And if I can't do that, you kind of need to produce something in social media. You need to have like a following. You need to be on TV, or you need to have something that people will want to watch, right? So, and people kind of want, I feel like people kind of want to relate to those people that previously haven't been relatable. So that's kind of that kind of was my strategy, just to show off my personality. And I had written down some ideas of stuff I wanted to create. Reviewing the food, for example, was one of them. I reviewed the chocolate muffin we had in the dining hall. Was one of the first ones that I reviewed, and it's so good. And then I saw people commenting saying that, oh, it's the muffin again. I've seen several people posting about this stuff. It looks really good. So I thought, okay, I have something here. I started posting more on the muffin, and it was so much more popular than the other stuff I posted. So then I just fully went for it. And at a certain point, I kind of just said, I am the Muffin Man now. And then it just exploded. I went from before the Olympics, before I went to a training camp for the Olympics, I had 3,000 followers. When I came back from the Olympics, I had 500,000.
Wow.
So it's like,
that's amazing.
And it's impossible to plan for that. You can't really make a strategy on that. But it's some luck, but it's also kind of like, it's just me showing off my personality and how relatable I am and my sense of humor, I guess.
Yeah. Do you know who made the muffins and what company and stuff like that?
Yeah, I have been in contact with the people who produced the muffin. So, it's been really cool. The
Do we
following
have a
months.
sponsorship deal in the making?
I
with
hope
that
to be
one?
able to do that. Yeah,
Yeah, that would be amazing.
I mean, we'll see.
Because that's
Like
also
a giant muffin tattoo on the back.
that would be cool.
That's gonna get me
In
banned.
the swimming pool.
That's gonna get me banned.
You're
though.
not allowed to have
No,
tattoos.
No,
okay,
we're not.
yeah.
I
We're allowed
not.
to have tattoos, but not of
Not commercial.
I
Yeah.
see. Because that's also, I mean, we've had a couple of athletes on the podcast, and some of them, as you said, are football, soccer players. They make millions a year. And then we have others who, as you said, maybe are more dependent on success. They need to win medals or get prize money in the different events. And how is that for you? Because I guess you also get some support from the federation, but it's not easy. And especially in Norway, there's been a lot of media attention. You know, that some athletes struggle more than others. And I guess this helps you in a way to get more exposure and to negotiate sponsorship deals and even make money from your own content on social media.
Yeah, exactly. It's no one's standing in line to throw money at you for doing a sport that has no value for anyone. That's not a good business idea for anyone, right? The reason why soccer players are making that much money is because they're generating that much money. And if you're doing a sport that doesn't really have that much entertainment value, it's hard, right? I get that it's unfair, but it's also kind of fair. Swimming is one of those sports that are Swimming is popular. It's very popular every 4 years, and maybe like once every 2 years we have our long course world championships. Then it also has some traction. But other than that, we still have 2 championships every year. We have a short course season that ends in December with a world or European championship, but it's not really that big. So if you win medals there, it's like, oh, you get a news article. Henrik Christiansen won a silver medal at the European Championships.
Yeah.
But it's not really, that doesn't give you that much, right? And in Norway, it's like, if you don't win, you're a loser. If a silver medal is not as good as a gold medal at all. 10 silver medals would not compare to 1 gold medal. It's like you have to win for it to be impactful.
Yeah.
And if you don't win, then it's also hard, right? Because those who are winners, those can be kind of used in commercials and by sponsors a lot more, right? And you need to have a brand, and you need to have a certain reach. You need to have like a profile that fits the people who want to sponsor you or want to use you to kind of sell their product. So, and if you're not really someone that has any use for anyone, then it's hard. But it's also, that's how the world is, right?
But and I think you sum it up well. And the potential deal with the Muffin company is exciting, but also, I mean, for your own sake, to gain followers in this world that we're living in now, and 500,000 is quite a lot, and
it's a lot of people.
Yeah, and I'm just happy for you that this, was not planned. It went viral, and now you have such a big platform where you can reach out to more people, and hopefully other companies or sponsorship deals will happen as a consequence of all this.
Yeah, and we're obviously chess players, but we're not on top of the chess. But we know a lot of grandmasters, and we have had them here as guests. And in terms of money in chess, it's not that good, and especially like from the federations around the world. And how is it with swimming and support from the federation?
I mean, we get a lot of support from our federation. The ones who are on the national team, the ones that are on the top of the national team, the ones that are on the elite team, they get everything sponsored. At least for doing your sport, you don't have to pay for training camps and a lot of stuff like that. So it's like, for me, swimming doesn't cost me anything.
Yeah.
I'm solely making money off of swimming. But for a lot of other people, swimming is still an expense, and it's tough to be able to pay that expense and also just pay for living, right? Because you need food, you need housing, you need everything, and you need more food than other people. To be better at swimming, right? So it's hard to make all the ends meet for some people. Some people have to they study while also swimming, and then they have scholarships for that. Some people go to the US and get full scholarships from colleges. Some people have to work on the side. But the federation we don't have salaries from the federation, but we have a lot of support.
Okay,
but,
so
we can also get like scholarships and stipends from the Norwegian Olympic Association, and then I have sponsors. I have some prize money. I have some money coming in from a lot of different places, and that's what kind of makes everything go around.
Yeah.
Okay. Do they help with sponsors and stuff like that, or initiate something?
They can, but that's not like their main focus.
Okay.
You're kind of left to yourself.
So when you're competing, you like everything is paid for, and like
yes.
So that's kind of different. I think that a lot of federations, including Norway, doesn't necessarily pay for like all the competitions from the top level chess players. So
we have some activity that the national team pays for, and some activities that our home clubs pay for. So it's kind of like a mix. But for like the best athletes in Norway, we don't really pay to swim.
It sounds like your federation is probably a bit more well off than the chess federation.
Yeah, because I mean, Odin, now the World Rapid and Blitz is coming up in December, and it's hosted in New York, and
cool. Quite expensive
for 5 days. And you can imagine
expensive.
like hotels in Manhattan in December and travel,
crazy,
and so I mean, we're easily talking, I would say, like $5,000 just to go there and compete, and not every
And I think they
player.
have to pay it if they don't get their own private sponsors. They have to pay it for themselves. Which is kind of bad.
And it's sad because it's such a great opportunity for Norwegian players to
and it's even televised.
Yeah.
So it's really weird.
So hopefully
when you think about it, and when I hear like we should all start swimming, I guess.
But Odin's problem is he's eating like if he's a professional swimmer, but he doesn't do all the workouts.
So I have that part.
The one can't exist without the other.
So I have I know, but I have 50%.
So you're just fat.
Yeah, basically I'm just fat.
You have the easy 50%.
No, I train a lot as well, but not as nearly as much.
And you have a sweet tooth.
Yeah,
but I do too.
Yeah.
I feel like
but you look like a Greek god. I mean,
you can eat what you want. That's the thing.
That's true.
When you train a lot.
Yeah.
Like you can't train like me. Okay, in a good week, I train 5 times a week, but that's nothing when you.
But then 70% of the time you're in the sauna at Satsodin. You're not actually working out.
I'm working out before. I'm working out before that.
But because of all this success, you also met a lot of famous people in Paris, including, the Prince of Norway, Håkon. And which other famous people or athletes did you interact with or meet?
There were some. There's probably been a lot of, because like in the Olympic Village, everyone you meet kind of like on the street there could be a Olympic gold medalist in their sport that you don't really know too much about, right?
Yep.
It could be like archery or shooting or something that you don't really pay that much attention to. So I might have taken some photos with some Olympic medalists or even Olympic champions. But I was also stopped by Katie Ledecky, which is a female swimmer who is on her way to becoming the most decorated female Olympian of all time. Wow. I think she has 9 Olympic gold medals now. And if she's continuing until LA, she can easily get up to over 10. So that's kind of like and she was one of the bigger profiles at the Olympic Games this year. Before all of the Muffin stuff happened, I actually saw Simone Biles in the village as well. So me and my friends, we tried asking her for a photo, but that we were told by their security team that no, we don't take photos. But I mean, she's such a big star that it's like I fully understand it as well, because she would have nothing else to do.
Take photos.
She'd probably take 400, 500 photos every day, right?
But this reminds me of a story with me and my brother. Like 10 years ago, we were in Var Island in Croatia, and we were drinking at a restaurant, and we saw Djokovic just pass by.
Right.
And I kind of ran after and asked for a photo. And my stepmother is from Serbia, so it was. He's the biggest star, obviously, in Serbia. So I kindly asked for a photo. I said, "Oh, my stepmother is such a big fan," and so on. And then one of his like friends or security people said like, "Sorry, not now. It's not the best timing." And I said, "Okay, I respect that." Went back. But my brother, he's like over 2 meters tall and much bigger than me. And he said, "No, we can't just accept a no." So he ran after and then just walked next to Djokovic, turned his head, looked at him and said, "Hey, man." And then Djokovic said, "Hey." And then my brother said, "You're the definition of inspiration." And then he asked for a photo and he got the photo. So
shoot your shot. Shoot your shot.
So
that's true. That's a good story.
Yeah. So we got, at least he got the photo. So we sent back to our family, and it was a cool experience.
Yeah, that's good.
And Henrik, you met all these famous people. Even Alan Walker reached out to you, and you had this big success. You went viral. How do you plan the branding of the Muffin Man in the future?
I mean, the muffin kind of has an expiration date, right? So I have to exploit that for as much as I can right now. But then I feel like because it's not really that much about the muffin. It's more about me and my sense of humor and who I am. So I just have to keep being myself, keep making original content, keep making genuine content, and just keep. I mean, I also need to enjoy doing it. If I'm not enjoying it, then then it's not as good as it could be, and then it's not really fun to watch either.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, I just have to keep enjoy doing it.
I think we need this rematch with the two of you, underwater chess. That will be good content for all of us. Yeah,
that could be good.
And this season, we have a great sponsor, which is Lofoten Arctic Water. It's obvious that when you're running, etc., you need water to hydrate. How is this in swimming?
We still have, for like a regular session, we still have to drink a lot. But it's our perspiration rate in water is a lot lower than on land because we're surrounded by water that's a bit colder. So, but it's still important to have intake of fluids and carbs during a training session. But then during races, we're not taking in anything.
And for everyone listening, you can go to lofotenwater.com to get in touch with the team. So do that. And Henrik, in terms of your swimming career, you have lots of gold medals in the Norwegian Championship and also silver medal and bronze medals from the European and World Championship. Do you still aim for that gold medal before you retire?
Absolutely. It's kind of like the only thing that's missing, right? It's one of the things that keep me motivated, and one of the things that I really aspire to reach. I want to be able to say that I've won something, that I've become a world champion, Olympic champion, or European champion. That's like the only thing that's really missing. But yeah, no, I'm having a break from swimming now for the rest of the year, but I still really want to continue going for it. I still love the sport. I still love like the lifestyle, training and improving and traveling all that much. So after I've had my break, I'm gonna have to reconsider. I mean, if I still want to continue, if I'm still motivated. But as of right now, I feel like I still want to continue, but I need a little break first.
Interesting. And we also have some questions from our listeners. First one is from Lars Jørgen, who supports us on Patreon, which we're very happy for. Has he become a member in the Muffin Man's Chess Club on chess.com?
Does that exist?
Apparently, yeah.
Well, then I guess I have to become a member then.
Yes, and I work for chess.com, so maybe I can pull some strings you can become the honorary member.
That's good. I could be a mascot at least.
The mascot, yeah. And the next one is from Dennis Vetten on Twitter. What's Henrik's rating on chess.com?
You know what? I don't really have a rating.
Yeah, you don't play that much.
I don't really play that much. No,
yeah.
it's mostly just like against friends.
Yeah,
I don't really play that much online chess.
You play mostly over the board.
Yeah,
friendly games.
Yeah, friendly games. That's what it's called.
Does he have any thoughts about the fact that chess isn't in the Olympics?
I mean, it's like there's so much politics surrounding like the Olympics and what sports are in the Olympics and what sports aren't. And then now, I mean, the Olympics now are starting to add a bit more like viewer-friendly sports. I know that for LA, I think they're adding flag football and like baseball. And we've recently gotten surfing, skateboarding, breakdancing, yeah, speed climbing.
My favorite.
And some sports, some of the like original sports are having are getting cuts on like the number of events. So I know it's difficult. I don't know who decides who gets to have everything, but there are a lot of other sports that aren't really in the Olympics that are still huge. So it's like it doesn't necessarily need to be in the Olympics for it to be like a proper sport or to be big.
And what do you think about this development in general? Because obviously it helps get more people to watch the Olympic Games, but also there's something nice about the tradition, right? And the original sports that took part way back.
Yeah. I know. I'm pretty sure breakdancing didn't really take part
in Athens, 1896.
Or in the ancient Olympics.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's become so much more than it was back then, right? And it's so much more commercialized. And then even though it's supposed to be commercial free and it's supposed to be free for everyone to watch, it's commercial free except for those companies that pay a lot of money to be able to run commercials during the Olympics.
Yep. Interesting. Next one is from Jørgen. How good could you have become in chess?
If I had gone all in chess, I mean, I'm not really autistic enough to become the greatest of all time, if I'm allowed to say that. But I have no idea. I mean, if I would have needed to love it more to become better, because I wouldn't have enjoyed spending as much time practicing. But if I had loved it, like with all my heart, as much as I do swimming and everything, hopefully pretty good. But I'm not really sure. It's hard to say.
Is it in swimming like it is in chess that you have to start really early to become very good?
Yeah. I think in swimming and a lot of technical sports like gymnastics, for example, also if you don't start when you're younger, it's really hard to get like the feel of the water, to learn the technique, and it's almost impossible to learn swimming at an old age. You don't really have the same feel for the water. You're not comfortable in the water. That's basically impossible.
Interesting. And we have one last question from Jacob. You competed in open water in the Olympics. Do you see yourself doing more of that?
Yes, 100% yes. It was really fun. I kind of started experimenting a little bit with it earlier this year. I took part in the World Cup where I think it was for a 10-kilometer race, which is close to 2 hours. I was 40 seconds behind the winner. Which was pretty good for like the first time I ever did it, and it was cool to have a different aspect, a bit of a different competition aspect than pool swimming, because that's just you have your own lane, you just go all out all the way. But in the open water races, it's a bit more strategy. You have to place yourself in the field to gain some advantages from positioning. And feeding stations along the way. Do you skip one? Do you take all the feeds? And it's just a bit more exciting. So yeah, I want to continue exploring that for a bit.
Great. And Henrik, this has been so much fun. Thanks for taking time, and we hope you enjoy your break from swimming, and hopefully you're back competing next year.
Thank you so much. I hope so too.